one must possess strength, agility, and plenty of courage. With speed sometimes reaching 60 miles per hour, one small mistake and... What kind of person would strap themselves behind 200 pounds of explosive machinery and risk their lives flying around a dirt track? Yep, this is the wild world of women's motocross.
Sometimes I get comments, you know, you're crazy, what are you doing on a motorcycle?
Probably could be compared to a visit to the psychiatrist's office.
My friends that don't race most usually say, you do what? Then I say, well, yeah, I race motorcycles, and then a lot of them doubt my sanity.
Call them what you want. Motorcycle mamas, daredevil damsels, or bouncy bikers. These women are a unique group. To find out more about these special ladies, we venture to Saddleback Park in the city of Orange to watch them compete in the Women's Motocross Nationals.
I'm 44 years old. I'm a grandmother of 3. I've been doing this for 12 years, racing motocross. I've been riding for probably 20 years. It's the most exciting thing there is to do. It's lots of fun, and it's very good for your waistline.
I'm 12 years old, and I've been racing for about 2.5 years. My friends sort of think that I'm crazy sometimes because I spend more time racing, and I don't do that much except for racing.
Coming from all walks of life, lawyers, teachers, and even housewives, these women have a tremendous love for the sport. But once they approach the starting line, it's serious business.
As far as feeling scared, it's usually before the race. The minute you get on the line, you put on your helmet, you put on your race face, and you become a racer, and the last thing you think about is danger. I have a daughter who's 4.5, and I try absolutely not to think about her, but I just ride, and you ride to win. You just have to concentrate on the ground space in front of you.
Though women's motocross is relatively safe, there is still an element of danger each rider must face.
I was coming off this jump, and I started falling forward, and I kept telling myself, I'm not going to fall, I'm not going to fall, I'm not going to fall, and all of a sudden it was too late. And I hit the ground, and I got up really fast, and I started screaming for some ice. And the paramedics came over and asked me if I was all right, and I was pretty upset for not finishing the race.
Motorcycle mama, won't you lay your big spike down?
After 6 hours of racing around the grueling Saddleback track, it was finally time for the women to pick up their just rewards. To the winner, the customary prize money, silver trophy, and a very special victory kiss.
Good girls don't. Good girls don't. What should they telling you? Good girls don't. But I do. But I do.
And so we witnessed the transformation of another so-called man.
Are kicking up dirt, a little grease, some spilt gas, maybe even a bruise or a broken bone. It's all part of being a motocross mama.
I'm an assistant building manager in a 16-story medical office building in downtown Los Angeles.
I work for Kroger's in Houston. I'm a computer operator.
We have our own business together. We're sign painters. I clean swimming pools in Texas. I paint animation cartoons for Hanna-Barbera. I've just completed all the testing to become a California Highway Patrol officer.
1982 and 83 Women's National Champion for AMA.
I have 2 kids, and I'm a housewife.
Started with 2 or 3 friends of mine riding motorcycles on a Wednesday afternoon when our children were in school, just for fun.
My husband got into trail riding when he was 30, and I was 27 at the time. And I said, I'm not going to sit home. Buy me a motorcycle. And he said, no way, I'm not having you anymore. Buy me a motorcycle. I promise I'll ride it, you know. And he got me my first motorcycle. It was a Honda 90, a little thing. And it took me 3 years to learn to stay on the motorcycle.
Patty and Natalie Stubner are mother and daughter-in-law. Lori Watson is a grandmother. Thea Gavin is a mother who has chosen to stay at home, while Denise Devines is a mother who also pursues a career. They are just several of the women who race motorcycles as a hobby, but by and large, they represent the traditional values most of these women adhere to.
What am I doing wrong? Daddy does it so easily. Well, I have a 7-year-old, a 5-year-old, and an 18-month-old, and I am involved with things at their school. I'm a room mother helper, and I help with my son's soccer team, and I go to Bible study on Wednesday mornings, and my husband and I teach a Sunday school class on Sundays.
Ready? Push. There we go. And it's near.
I'm a real traditional conservative type person. I believe that if a mother has young children, she should stay at home and be with them as much as possible. But I also think that there's things you can do that are fun that aren't normal, what normal people would do, but that doesn't make them any less fun, and that doesn't make you any less of a nice person if you ride a motorcycle.
What kind of reaction do you get when you tell people that you race motorcycles?
Well, they think I'm kind of crazy, and people that have known me for a long time are surprised because I haven't really said much about my easing into this and getting serious at it. And they're real shocked when I say, well, we can't teach Sunday school this week because we're going to a motorcycle race. And they're, what? What are you doing?
I'm always a little bit afraid of the image of maybe being overbearing or coarse, or it's the Hell's Angel image I'm a little bit afraid of. In a way, do you see yourself as a role model to other women your age? What I'd like to say is the fact that you're not too old, or your sex shouldn't disable you from doing whatever you want. What does motocross racing mean to you? There aren't a lot of exciting things left to do in the world, and motorcycle racing, to me, is a pioneer-type spirit. We are the explorers. We are the Christopher Columbus and the Wright brothers of yesteryear. We are the people that are looking, the thrill seekers maybe, but the people that are definitely adventurers.
Now, see if you can swing your leg over it. Do you think you can make it? I'll help hold you, okay? Sure? Yeah, I'll help hold you. Okay, have you got it? I got it. Okay, now don't feel badly because all the girls use milk cartons or some kind of something to balance on this. The bikes are real tall. All I'm going to do is hold your front brake, and you put on your helmet, okay? Oh, gotta have full face helmet to protect that pretty much. I like blue. There you go. Okay, and here's your goggles. They'll just fit right over it and kind of wiggle them in a little bit. And then your gloves, okay?
Now, are these gloves heavy enough?
Oh, yes, and they have the little protection on the front so if you hit any branches or something that they help protect you, too. And I buy them extra long to protect my fingernails. So, I feel like a Martian. Yeah. This is your clutch, and that's your brake, and here's your throttle. And all you have to do is turn that on and wick it, and you're ready to win.
I wasn't quite ready to win yet, so I thought it would be better to hitch a ride with a more experienced driver.
Take it easy on her.
Humphrey motocross course in Carlsbad, California, headed for that first corner traffic jam. Motocross is a jarring, difficult sport, run over hill and dale, through dust at times, mud at others, demanding a sense of balance that would befit a tightrope walker, a great deal of endurance, and more than a modicum of courage. The Carlsbad course has become a classic venue. Even the names of the turns, hills, and drops are familiar to aficionados of the sport. Names like Carlsbad Freeway and the Hoop-de-Doo, the Ledge, the Hairpin, Devil's Drop, and Rattlesnake Gulch. Yes, we're back in Carlsbad for motocross, but this time there's a difference. The mud-caked boots are not worn by heavy-bearded, nail-hard men of motors, but by the ladies of the long, hard trail. They have come with their children, their compacts, and their talent to race in the Women's Invitational Motocross Motorcycle Championship. This will be the first time women's motocross will have been seen on national television. The women are eager to show what they can do. And when you see what they do today, you won't call them baby anymore.
Right behind the bus here, Russ will be setting up tech. The scheduled events will be the
That's AMA referee Butch Lee giving his instructions at the riders' meeting. They vary not at all from the instructions that have been given many times before here in Carlsbad, California, to the men of the International Motocross Circuit. But this time, the competitors are women in the Women's Invitational Motocross Motorcycle Championship. After the meeting, they'll be moving to the line for the start.
Failure will be penalized of 1 lap.
Good afternoon. I'm Jim McKay speaking to you from Carlsbad, California. You know, it's one of our prides at ABC's Wide World of Sports that long before ERA, long before Title IX, in fact, really before the women's movement really got going in the United States, we were covering women's sports. All the way back to our beginnings in 1961, we covered sports like women's gymnastics, women's figure skating, women's surfing, women's swimming and diving, women's track and field, and many more as the years have gone by. And yet today, we're going to cover a sport that not only have we never covered before, but nobody anywhere at the network or local level has ever televised before. It's called women's motocross, and I guarantee it is easily the most rugged sport in which we have yet seen women compete. They're striving for recognition. We think it's about time they got it, and that's why we're here today. Now, here is a young man well known to you, 3-time world champion, Jackie Stewart, on a motorcycle. I have a couple of questions for you. I really would like you to answer them seriously. First of all, do you think you could take this around this motocross?
Jim, it's got 14 or 15 corners around there. Very difficult. I've been watching these girls, and I would be very doubtful whether one Jay Stewart could get this round there in one piece. Never mind the bike, but Jay Stewart being in one piece.
What about the possibility of you competing or actually racing on one of these things in this course?
That can only be classed as a dream. I tell you, I'm impressed. I don't think I can ever remember being so impressed in watching any one sport as watching these girls go around this track.
Really?
It's amazing. You know, the physical needs to ride a motorcycle fast over rough terrain are incredible. I mean, the body's got to be strong, the arms have got to be strong. It's an amazing thing, from the legs right up to the head. And you've got to be very alert, you've got to be very, very clean in your head how to ride a bike this fast around terrain like this. And these girls do it with such skill and such verve. It's just unbelievable. I'm really impressed.
All right, Jackie, now let's go to our man in the pit area on the line right now, the editor of National Speed Sport News, Chris Economaki.
From the very beginning in automobile racing, there's been the occasional woman who wanted to take on the men. In the early days, it was Elfrida Mays and Madame Hell Nice of France. And then in stock car racing, it was Sarah Christian, Ruby Flock, and Louise Smith. And in big car racing, we have our Janet Guthrie of today. But here, the entire row of 25 riders are all ladies on wheels, trying to do a man's job on a very difficult course. It's not an easy sport. It's an exciting sport for these ladies, and many of them want to take on the men later on. And they're about to get the engines underway, and that means I've got to move.
Right you are, Chris. Well, this is being determined in 2 motos or heats, and that's the 2-minute signal, by the way. And in the 2 motos, your combined placings determine the result. Now, let's have a look at Dee Dee Cates of Anaheim, California. She's the national champion, and in the first moto, which has already taken place, was involved in a tremendous battle with another woman, Sue Fish, right here of Van Nuys, California, a 2-time former national champion who did not compete last year because of an injury that was sustained right here on this course. Now, let's go back to that first moto. We had Dee Dee Cates in the yellow uniform out in front at this point, wearing number 1 as the national champion. Sue Fish in the white uniform with the red trim. At this point, they're headed for the area called the Ledge, and it was great racing. There was Sue Fish taking the lead from Dee Dee Cates, Jackie.
She took the lead there at that time very well indeed, and she looked as if she had had the lead, and suddenly Dee Dee came round wide at that point, and you can see Sue Fish's bike went right up there on the rear wheel. That certainly slowed her down and let Dee Dee retake the lead.
Did that coming off the ledge as they headed for Rattlesnake Gulch. Through the hoop-de-doos, little rises and bumps there. Such varying terrain there is in this sport of motocross.
It's amazing, really, the physical strain involved here. Just the arms and the legs, but look at the legs right now. The suspension, that's the suspension for the rider. Really not the wheels and the suspension for the motorcycle. It's the legs and the thighs that are working for that rider to try and iron out some of those bumps. And my goodness, are there bumps.
Here's a section that'll become very familiar to you. The Carlsbad Freeway, they call it this. Uphill straightaway. A lot of passing normally takes place here. Dee Dee and Sue Fish is in the first moto. This is the hairpin now that leads to the downhill, a very precipitous downhill. In fact, this was the very place where Sue Fish was injured last year.
Going down there very quickly indeed. Very difficult to keep a bike upright and still stand on it at that time. Both riders putting their feet down there, as you can see, to get assistance and to get a little more sure footing. Again, a lot of pressure there was given by Sue Fish, but Dee Dee held it off.
Over the Devil's Drop they went. And we'll be seeing a lot of that today on Wide World of Sports. Headed now for the finish line and under the finish banner. And on the next lap, the first turn is the hairpin. Dee Dee Cates still in front in this steep section. Sue Fish, though, setting her up. Nope, no move there. But now she moves. On the outside, Sue Fish taking the lead. It was to be a lead she would hold for the rest of the race. The first moto then had been completed. And the results, well, it was Sue Fish the winner, Dee Dee Cates second, Barbara Spielman third, Lisa Akins fourth, and Doreen Payne was fifth. Now let's go back. We're ready for the start of the second moto. Less than 30 seconds before the start. 21 bikes on the line. Waiting now for the 10-second signal. He'll give that with his right hand. And there it is, 10 seconds. Watch for the start of the second moto. The women are racing at Carlsbad. And on the start, there's a fall. Charlene Higgins. Charlene Higgins is down as Dee Dee Cates goes for the lead. Dee Dee Cates, Sue Fish on the outside, and now Sue dropping back a bit into fourth place. It's Dee Dee Cates taking the early lead then.
And it was a convincing way for her to move in front of those bikes. Very important to stay out of trouble. And, of course, when you got that many bikes right behind you, and there you see Charlene Higgins' bike being picked up, number 12 there. She's getting some assistance, getting herself pulled together again. And here we have it in slow motion. You can see Charlene, and you can see it right now. Right at the beginning, she turns right. She nearly runs right into Dee Dee there, and she, in fact, does run into Mercedes Gonzalez there, then veers off, still trying to keep the bike up, but the front wheel goes down, and there she is, right into the bushes, right at the very start, no more than about 20 meters after the beginning. She's got herself together now, restarting the bike, getting on, getting away after the field. She's got a lot of catching up to do.
She sure does, as Dee Dee Cates continues to lead the race. They go around the hairpin. Lisa Akins is in second position, but look at that battle for third at the hairpin between Kathy Holman being challenged by Barbara Spielman. Kathy Holman, by the way, is competing with a broken rib. If you don't think these young women are tough. And out she's down. Kathy Holman down. But that quickly she's up and away again. Chris talked to her earlier about her injury.
How do you feel, Kathy?
It hurts pretty bad. It hurts a lot. The track's really rough and slows me down quite a bit.
What is a 16-year-old girl from Texas doing on a motorcycle when you're supposed to be on a horse?
I just got interested in it. A bunch of my friends rode, and I just felt like getting into it.
Dee Dee Cates continuing to lead the race. Jackie, I just don't know where they get the strength and endurance from, because by and large, these are not big, strong-looking women. They're slender.
Well, just that last move alone there, you saw that bike almost getting away from her. To be able to recontrol a motorcycle in conditions like that, where it's really getting from one bump to another, amazes me. I'm so impressed by these people, as I said right at the beginning of this show.
And Jackie, we've seen each of the leaders going through our picture there. Remember, in first place, Dee Dee Cates, second, Lisa Akins, and third, Barbara Spielman. They have a long way to go. Cates continues to lead comfortably in the Women's Invitational Motocross Motorcycle Championship in Carlsbad, California. There, as you see her go up the screen, the second place bike coming down the screen is that of Lisa Akins. And in third place, most interestingly now, we have Sue Fish. Remember, she dropped back to fourth place on the start, and actually near the end of that first lap, coming down the downhill where she was injured last year, she had a slight fall, got right back up again, but had dropped back to sixth position. Now she has fought her way all the way from sixth to third and is closing in on Lisa Akins of Niles, Michigan, who is in second place. After that, and she may make it right here, but not quite, Jackie. Oh, look at this racing.
Tremendously close. She's really aiming on the rear wheel of that bike in front. She's just looking for an opening. Remember, they've got to be so careful with these bikes moving around in the track so much on these bumps. You can't get so close that a bike can get into you. So you've got to choose your space very carefully. And of course, Sue is very experienced, and this is going to show in due course, I'm sure, because that kind of experience you can't buy.
It's hot out here in the desert today, by the way. That'll be a factor before this race is done. The length of the race is 25 minutes plus 1 lap. That's a long, long time to be out on that course. Sue Fish still setting up Lisa Akins, not able to make that pass as they head for the downhill again. This has been her Waterloo, as you know now, on at least 2 occasions, last year and earlier in this race. Not this time. Not this time. Sue Fish passing Lisa Akins and taking over second place in this second of 2 motos in the championship. And now a slight slip, almost lost it, but what a recovery.
And she nearly got clipped in her rear wheel there, because that could so easily have been a situation where Lisa could have got her. It would have been very, very simple for both of them to come off there, and there you see another attempt. My goodness, they're not giving up. Lisa Akins really pushing hard there, but Sue's got the second place firmly in her teeth now.
And Dee Dee Cates still leading comfortably. There she is on the left upper screen. You know, Sue became a friend of actress Linda Blair when she worked as Linda's stunt person in the forthcoming movie Ruckus. Chris was with him earlier.
Now, you fall down for Linda.
Well, no, I didn't fall. I just did some jumps and some wheelies for her in the film.
Now, tell me exactly what you did for her. We'd like to see that.
Okay, well, we did some jumps where we crossed over in the air, John Hately and I, who doubled for Dirk Benedict. And we were about, I'd say, 15 to 20 feet in the air. And then we did some wheelies and some turns for him.
But you're here to race, and they tell us that you're the leading lady rider, that you're out front most of the time. How long have you been at it?
Well, I've been racing about 6 years, but I've been away from it for a year. This is actually my first race.
I understand on the steep hill right here at Carlsbad, you took a bad tumble about a year ago. What broke?
Well, nothing broke. I just went off the jump a little bit sideways.
I'm not talking mechanically. I'm talking physically.
Physically. Nothing broke physically either. I just had some torn ligaments.
How are you feeling now?
I feel great.
Sue Fish not feeling too bad out on the race course at the moment either. There she is in second place, moving out a little bit from Lisa Akins, although Lisa now tries to close in again. And with the long lead we have there, Dee Dee Cates. And remember, she was second in the first moto to Sue Fish. Could have a reverse of the standings this time, or who knows? Still a long way to go, Jackie.
And so many bumps to cross. Look at that bike jumping, and look at her coming up out of the saddle there. Relax and ride. Well, normally you see women giving the pit signals to men in motor racing, and it's, of course, on the other shoe in this kind of racing.
Okay, as we said, a long way to go here, and we'll be back. Now let's go to Howard Cosell. Bad California. This is Jim McKay with Jackie Stewart, and that is Dee Dee Cates, the leader still in the Women's Invitational Motocross Motorcycle Championship. Dee Dee Cates of Anaheim, California, and she has a good, solid lead, passing slower bikes on the track now. Woo! Went pretty wide there, Jackie.
Yes, and look how the shadows are getting long too, the light, and so it's okay when it's behind you, but when you're riding into that light, it can be very distracting. And of course, riding at this time, getting closer towards the end of the race, you're getting tired, muscularly tired. And of course, these back markers don't help you because you've got to outthink them all the time. You've got to make sure you don't put yourself in a position where they can snooker you, put you offline. And look at nearly a situation there. The other rider simply didn't see her. That's Jenny Miles. She didn't see Dee Dee there, I'm sure. Remember, there's no rear view mirror.
Now,
She's down.
The leader is down. Dee Dee Cates into the dust. And there goes Sue Fish. Sue Fish taking over the lead. Sue Fish, the one who won the battle between these two women in the first moto heat. A tough break for Dee Dee Cates, and a little trouble getting that bike started again.
Yes, the bike doesn't like to start there on a hot engine. Quite often can be the case, but there she's off again. She must be tired. She must be hopelessly disappointed. Let's have a look at it in slow motion here. She comes over behind Jenny Miles there. She's trying to look for a place to get past. She's been looking for quite a few corners, and you can see what happens here. Her front wheel catches the rear wheel of Jenny Miles as she goes round there. It was just too late, and over she goes. She takes quite a heavy fall there. Luckily, the bike doesn't go on top of her, and she was okay, not injured, apart from her fright.
Okay, so the new leader is Sue Fish, and by the way, while Dee Dee was down, we also saw Lisa Akins, who was in third place, flash fire. So the standings now are Sue Fish, the leader, Akins in second place. But a tough break for Dee Dee Cates, who had led just about all the way in the race. Sue Fish, however, was injured, remember, on this race course a year ago. It knocked her out of competition for the entire season. She came back on the first lap of this second moto after winning the first one. She also went down in the same place, got her right back up. And now we've got Dee Dee Cates down again.
Poor Dee Dee, she's got troubles, Jim. I'm sure tiredness must have a lot to do with this. Just bringing that bike up the last time and kicking it, and she's having the same trouble again. The bike doesn't want to start. Look at her head. She's so dejected. What a disappointed young lady that must be. And you can see the fatigue in her, the way that she's putting her helmet back and her head back to try and give it that extra kick. It's really excruciating. I ride motorcycles and I ride off-road from time to time, and I know how she feels right now, and I'm not nearly as fit, I'm sure, as she is.
And, you know, if she had won this moto, she would have been the overall winner, because that's the rule. If it's a tie, in effect, the one who had the better finish in the second moto is the winner. But what a day this has been for women's motocross. One woman organized the competition, and Chris talked to her.
You're looking at the face of Vicki Miller-Haig, a lady motocross racer, but more importantly, a lady who loves the sport, so much so that she is the one who made today's program happen. Congratulations, Vicki, on your work on behalf of you and your fellow lady riders. You must really love the sport.
Yes, I do. It's very important to us.
Why is it so important?
It's our hobby. It's for the girls, it's going to be their vocation if they can get into men's racing, big-time racing. Mm-hmm.
And you have those ambitions yourself?
No, I'm just a good-time racer. That's all.
You're a carpenter.
Yes, I build houses and apartments. I have my own business.
Well, that's great. Now, what about the feminine side of things? Do you think this takes away from any of your femininity?
I think the people out there would have to decide that. I don't think so.
Why, we want to wish you all the best in the racing. Now, most riders have their names someplace. I don't see your name here.
No, mine's on my biggest part.
Oh, you're on the widest part. Let me ask you something, so. Vicki. Does this bounding you take make your widest part any wider?
Wider and wider, afraid so.
Sue Fish still leads the competition here. And if she can just hold on, she, of course, will be the overall winner and winner of both motos or heats in this championship. So stay with us. We'll be right back. Like Sue Fish is on her way to victory under the desert sun in Carlsbad, California. This was the place where she had a bad fall. It knocked her out of action for a year. She won the first moto here today. In the second moto, she slipped in the same section where she had fallen last year. She dropped back to 6th place in the standings. But slowly, she worked her way up, and when Dee Dee Cates fell and had trouble getting her bike started again, Sue Fish took over the lead and now is breezing along.
She's really a very talented lady. You can see that she's set for a very long career, and she could very easily, Jim, dominate this sport. It's amazing to me because the amount of pressure on somebody, physically and mentally, in this sport of motorcycle racing. And look, she's almost playing with her motorcycle right there. She's taking her time, but she's got time to be a little bit flippant with it. You know, in a racing driver, we get up to pulse rates of more than 185 that has been tested in a Formula One car. I understand in motorcycle racing, they're up at more than 200. It's not just physical, it's mental strain as well. So this young lady's really got everything under her belt very happily.
And if you wonder if she might be able to compete against the men, the answer is yes, because she has already done it, and with some success. She's coming toward the finish line now. Sue Fish is going to win it, taking off her goggles now, just as she gets the checker flag. It's all over. She has won both motos and the overall championship. A brilliant performance out there. And now time for a little celebration. Here is Lisa Aikens coming in second place. She drove a beautiful moto.
She did indeed. She drove consistently all the way along, and you've got to be consistent, and you've got to finish.
Lisa Aikens finishing second in moto number 2. But there is the young woman whose day it is, Sue Fish, being congratulated all around. You can see that she also is very, very weary. It's a long and grueling thing. Let's go to Chris Economaki with a disappointed Dee Dee Cates.
You all okay, Dee Dee?
Yeah, fine.
Finally, what happened there?
Oh, I got knocked down by a lap rider.
By the who?
Lap rider?
Lap rider? You upset about this?
No, more times, other times.
Have you ever knocked anyone down yourself when you were being lapped?
No. I used to just pull out of the way.
Okay, how are you going to spend this evening now after a big day on the track?
Pouting.
Pouting, eh? I doubt that very much. So, Fish was the winner, Aiken second, Kathy Holman third, then Ray Helms and Dee Dee Cates fifth overall. Now to the winner.
That's a girl. Down but not out, right?
That's right.
You started off poorly.
Oh, I fell down on the first lap at the bottom of the downhill. And I couldn't really get going. I started picking up a little bit, and then I guess Dee Dee fell down. The track's really slippery right now. It's really easy to go down on. I'm really happy.
How much dirt did you eat?
Well, I don't know.
Seeds and everything?
I don't know.
Great comeback for you, Sue. Great.
Thank you very
much.
much.
Be pleased about it, huh?
Thank you. Yes, I am.
How about the sore shoulder and so forth? Bother you at all?
Not me at all. Everything worked great. I'm real happy. Woo!
So Sue Fish was the winner on this big day for the women motocross racers. They made no secret of the fact that their first televised race was a big occasion for them. However, they came with no banners flying or sermons to preach. They came only to show that they are racers, they are serious, and they're very good at what they do. It's the opinion here that they made their points very clearly on the race course. Off course, they couldn't have been more professional or more cooperative. This is Jim McKay with Jackie Stewart and Chris Economaki in Carlsbad, California. We wish today's competitors well and hope to see them soon again. Stay with us now, because Wide World of Sports will continue in a minute.